Daylight, my MVVs, welcome. Your sister started having problems with Queen Naomi just after she single-handedly organized and celebrated your birthday in her first year into the palace of the Ooni of Ife. We are hearing that this is what Auntie Ikbe is beginning to reveal because she has made it known that she is ready to begin to speak. She's ready to begin to tell Ooni of Ife what actually transpired. Because until recently, Ooni of Ife did not or was not believing everything that was happening, where they said that, his separation to Queen Naomi had a spiritual undertone, that it was not something that was physical, that it was, even when Queen Naomi left the palace and went to go and post that thing on Instagram, that she was pushed, like she did it forcefully. It was not something that came out of her mind. The kind of woman Queen Naomi is a very sensible woman. Look, this one is not like Delaram like Queen Naomi too much. Delaram is almost always supporting Queen Naomi. Ask anybody who knows Queen Naomi. People have been close to Queen Naomi. Queen Naomi is a very sensible woman. Queen Naomi is not a surface woman. Queen Naomi is not a woman who will just jump up and do things without evaluating them well. And this is not to say she is a perfect woman. No, that's not what I'm saying. Most times, a lot of you misunderstand me. When I say something, you tend to think that I am saying she's perfect. Queen Naomi is not perfect. Neither is anyone perfect, okay? And so, for what she did, from the very beginning, people knew, especially Queen Naomi's family, they knew something was there. They knew somebody did something. They knew that people wanted to separate Queen Naomi from the Ooni of Ife. But from that very beginning, a month, 4 months to when he had gone to make arrangement, married these women, brought them in, he was not believing anything that people were saying until his eyes began to open. His father went on and on and on and on until his eyes began to open and he began to see things. And only recently, with all the revelations, with all the priestess Ifa from all over the place that they kept bringing, they've been saying one and the same thing, what they did to Queen Naomi and all of that. And that's when Oni has come to the realization that they did a whole lot to Queen Naomi. And that is the one thing that they say is making him feel so bad, that he was never truly there for Queen Naomi. He just married the small girl, brought the girl in, allowed them to do whatever it is they wanted to do to that girl. And that was exactly what they did. So, but right now, with everything that is happening, that is making him feel so bad over the things that were done to Queen Naomi, a reason why he is saying that he doesn't want to have anything to do with Ikpe again. He does not want to maintain that marriage relationship with Ikpe again, as we are hearing, if this information is true. Ikpe is trying to make things work. Ikpe is trying to beg. Ikpe is trying to, let Ooni of Ife know the things that were done. And that is why Ikpe is beginning to say that where Kabiesi's sisters began to have problems with Olori Naomi was that very first year when Olori Naomi got into the palace. Ooni of Ife's birthday that year was the biggest birthday. It was beautiful. It was amazing. People attended. People were happy because the palace was in a very great state at that time. People were so happy. You do remember that Ooni of Ife took over that stool in 2015, and shortly after he took over that stool, he married Wurola. Wurola's marriage to the Ooni of Ife lasted, I think, 17 months or so. I don't know if it's 17 months or 14 months or what, or 11. I don't know. I've forgotten. And then Wurola left. From that time to when he got married to Olori Naomi, he was alone. And do remember that he had not had an heir, and people who loved him, his family, everybody, they wanted him to get married again and probably give the throne an heir. And so when Naomi came into the picture, it was one of the most beautiful things. People loved it. People loved Naomi. People loved Naomi because of the woman that she is, and still is today. But a lot at that time too still didn't like her because they felt like she wasn't the kind of woman that Oni was. It wasn't all about beauty and brains and a woman of God. They felt that Oni would have married from a family with pedigree. And all of these women, Kabiesi is a man a fine man. He has all of these chicks. All he used to have them all hanging around him so much, and so they wanted him. They wanted to be there. Who doesn't want to be an Olori? Okay, and he left them all to go and marry the small girl Queen Naomi. That was the problem. Now, when Queen Naomi was not married, you do know that the sisters were there. Most of the representation, sorry, when Oni was not married, most of the representation were being done by the sisters. Okay, the sisters were even going to other African countries to go and represent Ooni of Ife because, of course, he was not married, and at that time, he couldn't do it all by himself. He needed as much help as possible. The sisters were there. Now, each birthday, the sisters used to organize, and you do know that there's money for this birthday. It involves a lot of money to organize the Oni's birthday, and besides, it's not the Ooni of Ife basically that brings the money for the organization of his birthday. Oni has a lot of goodwill. Friends, people want to be close to him, so they put money on ground. So when the sisters were the one handling that birthday, they were making a lot of money, as it is alleged, if this story is true. If this story is true. So, but when Oni eventually got married to Olori Naomi, Naomi had to take over everything. That year's birthday, Naomi took over, and they said the sisters were not happy. This is what we heard Ikpe is beginning to say, that the sisters were very, very unhappy about that. And that was when they began to not like Olori Naomi. That was when they began to pick faults. That was when they began to see fault. That was when they began to create fault. And with the help of Ebony, that was right there in the palace, and the help of Yalaje, he made it very easy for them to go on and on and on and on. So they kept creating these faults. It was going to the Ooni of Ife over and over again. Today is this, tomorrow is that, creating things that were never even in existence. This one said that, that one said this, Queen Mother said that, Ashley's sister said this, that, and it was causing a lot of problems. Meanwhile, all these things that were happening, they never for once heard. Nobody ever said, Olori Naomi said this about you. Olori Naomi will hear and she will swallow. Olori Naomi will hear and she will swallow. Olori Naomi will hear and she will swallow. But you do know that the sisters were staying inside the palace with her. The brother, Gbero, was in that palace with her. The mother was in that palace with her. So it was only natural for this group of people to begin to try and protect their own. Knowing that she was not able to protect herself, she was trying to keep her reputation intact and all of that. And so, because the mother could not take this anymore, this mother started fighting with them while they were fighting back. Fighting sacred war was going on until the thing escalated to what it became, that made Queen Naomi to leave the palace of the Ooni of Ife. And so that's the reason why they say Ikbe is saying, we did this collectively. Why am I the only one suffering? Because even until Ikpe came to the palace and all of that, they said the sisters were still busy fighting Olori Naomi. This is what we are hearing allegedly, as it is rumored, as it is reported. Going to bring you more update. Appreciate you so much. Thank you.